So we'll see the same again with this junior race here as they're off down to turn 1, and Cameron Leslie looks like he'll just duck inside, duck around the outside of Caleb Gilmore there to take the lead into turn 1.
No, awesome start there by Cameron. He's outgunned by the bigger 400, but definitely does a great job. And that was a great start, getting it in the inside and stuffing it there. So cutting across him, so he couldn't take the line away, and Cameron Leslie leads the field away as we go with Caleb Gilmore in second. Yeah, the difference between these bikes with Caleb on his stock 400 it is a bit more top end, obviously, with no restrictions on the engine. Just it's got to be a stock standard motor, stock standard fork internals, springs, shock, suspension, all that sort of stuff, all stock. Whereas these 390 boys have got a lot more freedom to do what they want to make their bike as fast and handle as good as they can around the track. And noticing the two bikes, Caleb's bike still has that more top end, but being stock, the 390s pull out of the corner so much better. So it's awesome to see the parity between the two of them, and MNZ's done a great job of getting them in the same class with two of the fastest guys in New Zealand on them, and not seeing any difference in speed.
No, absolutely. It seems to be a good match there. Trading off for the amount of modifications that you're allowed with the Supersport 300s, and then also being such a stock bike for Ninja Kyle Cox Motorsport Cup rules and regulations. Yeah,
the 400 Ninja definitely one of the best bikes to have stock. I haven't had as much fun on a stock bike as I had on riding the Ninja. Just an awesome training bike, very, very forgiving. So if you want to have a bike that you had to have stock, that'd probably be the one you'd go for.
And then we see Cameron Leslie take the lead in that opening lap there, ahead of Caleb Gilmore to Logan, and Dylan, Hamish and Adrian De Souza to Sean Parker, Sean White and Simon Beard to Craig Smith, round out the top 10 of this junior race.
Yeah, I think we forget about Dylan Byrne a little bit too much. Dylan is a great rider, been around a long time, and doing just a great job to hang on to the back of these front guys. Dylan will, we got one down at the last corner, but Dylan will be definitely a force to be reckoned with in future. So good to see him up there and battling for this win.
Oh, absolutely, and he's keeping these front three honest every time.
Cameron Leslie up the inside of Caleb Gilmore off the end of the front straight. Awesome, this D617 picking up Cameron Leslie in the off-season, past High Sun Cup champion and moving up to the 390, and awesome to see him get up there, and just shows at the end of the front straight that the 400 hasn't got as much legs as everyone says it does.
And just celebrating his 21st birthday as well, Cameron Leslie. So he should have at least 3 hairs on his chest by now.
Yeah, no, actually I'm not going to say anything about that. Don't get myself in too much trouble, so it's all you, Doyle. Yeah, as we head to the depot, we've got Cameron Leslie still in the lead. He's a little bit wide coming out of there. Caleb Gilmore's going to get the run on him, and we'll see if that can translate into a move into the last corner. I think it does. Caleb Gilmore pulls alongside him. On the brakes, diving into the last corner off the end of the straight, and it's Caleb Gilmore up the inside. Cameron Leslie slots in the second, right behind Logan Rowell and Dylan Byrne, seeing where they can make up the time. So we'll see with Caleb leading this time over the finish line. We'll see if Cameron can stay in there on the little 390, and if he can make the move again to turn 1, or if the 400's got a little bit more legs. Oh, they are neck and neck coming down the straight. There's absolutely nothing in those bikes. Awesome to see, and a move up the inside. Caleb Gilmore around the outside, shuts the door, and it doesn't happen. Great racing by these two. Really good, really good. Just a quick side note back to the High Sun battle. Well, just a classic High Sun battle. We have a little bit less in this class. So we've got the 3 High Suns of Ben Mayo and Esmond Williams and Nathan Finlay all battling for that first place and first place honours in the 250 class, which they split the points differently. So it's a big championship to win, and they have their own prizes, and everyone I'm sure will be fighting tooth as nail as they hit 3-4 abreast across the finish line.
And again, just like the High Sun Cup race, it's tight pack racing there for the junior class. If you're on a 250.
This is hot pace that Caleb and Cameron are seeing at the front at the moment. Caleb managing to hold off Cameron into turn 1 and have the whole of the infield to try and get a gap on him, and it looks like he's doing quite a good job. They look like Logan and Dylan are not just quite been able to stay with the pace of these front two, doing low 16s, which is still a great time, but Caleb and Cameron in the low 15s, oh, it's a good gap. That's a good gap. Caleb put in an absolute heater of a lap. The 14.4. Wow, that's fast. Man, he's going to be happy with that. That is a heater of a lap right when he needed to as well. Those D6M boys absolutely hounding him. That was nothing wrong with that. Cameron Leslie was faster than he's been all day in that lap just then, and still lost a second. Still lost a second to Caleb Gilmore. So that's really impressive. Big ups to Caleb Gilmore there on a stock bike doing 14s around here. Is very impressive. Very impressive. Yeah, Dylan Byrne still holding on to that second place, to that second group with Logan Rao, and that third place battle is still definitely alive and kicking. Caleb trying to stretch his legs at the moment and maybe force Cameron into a mistake or just grow that gap a little bit so it's just not manageable enough for Cameron to make a move back.
Coming up on these back markers now, just like race one, attempted to find the race winner there, and it's. Would you agree it's part of the skill set that you need in racing, making your way through back markers, Jacob?
Oh, of course. I mean, that's why this class is so good. That you have levels of guys all the way from national champions to first-time riders. And you've got people like Caleb Gilmore that if he wants to head overseas and do a lot more overseas riding, the level of there is just going to be so much higher. So being able to pick your passes and being able to make clean manoeuvres are always going to be a skill set that you're going to need and want to learn. So I reckon it's good to grow a rider in whatever he's doing. And obviously Nathan Finlay moving into third in the Hyacinth Cup. The 250 race at the moment. Coming onto the front straight for the second to last time. It's an all-out fight between those three. Awesome to see. White flag out, means one to go. We've got Caleb Gilmore, who is leading this pack. We've got Ferg with his hands on his head. he's got his rider out there, old Ben Mayo, fighting for the lead for the race win of this class. Here we go. We've got one lap to go, and he leads by thousands over the line. Nathan Finlay back to fourth. We've got Esmond Williams round the outside to take the lead of that class with one to go. That one's going to go right down to the wire. We've got Caleb Gilmore coming. Cameron on the last lap, pulled right back, but it's Caleb over the line. Oh, good ride, good ride. Fastest lap for Cameron on that last lap with a 15.1. It's a great lap time, and I'm sure he'll be very happy with that. Caleb Gilmore foot off the pedal a little bit on that last lap, or made a mistake, but no, good to see, good to see. 14.4, can't be happy, can't be mad with that. It's a great lap time for Caleb. We've got that gaggle of the Hyacinth group. The last kind of race we have on track at the moment is Esmond Williams takes the lead going into the last lap. We've got one corner to go. It's Esmond, it's Ben Mayo, it's the number 8 machine, and then Nathan Finlay into fourth. It's the last group we have on the track at the moment. Caleb Gilmore just behind them of all the bikes that they've got through. We've got them coming up the front straight now. They are neck and neck for that's going to be close. They're all in each other's slipstream. There's going to be just down to who's got the best run on the straight, the best tuck position, which is definitely not Nathan Finlay, that's for sure. It looks like he's swimming every time he comes up the straight, but here they come. It's Esmond Williams, Nathan Finlay. Oh my God! Wow, man! I wonder if we can see the times.
I think Esmond got in there just ahead of Ben Mayo. That's 0.5. What is that? Thousandths. 0.5
thousandths of a second between first and second there. It's a great ride by all of them there. Oh, it's Alexander McNabb. I love that guy.
And Nathan Finlay. So there's less than 1/10 of a second between that front
four. Less than 1/10 of a second. That's really impressive. Cool to see Alex and Nathan Finlay there have the fastest laps, the 26.6 and 26.7, but just not been able to get past Esmond Williams and Ben Mayo, who had some pretty great race craft to keep them behind for the whole race.
They got to get them online. They got to buy it online. Yeah, to tell them that there's a private event on at the moment.